Guys, it is confirmed. Hybrids. Whoa. Confirmed by the CEO. All right. So what's up with hybrids? Well, we know for a fact that here in China, hybrids make up the majority of sales for BYD, and also in terms of new energy vehicle, range extended electric vehicles, hybrids, all right, make up a lot of the sales for new energy vehicles in general here in China, including for companies like Li Auto, Leap Motor. Their EREVs make up a lot of the sales. All right, people buy it because they think there's that convenience factor of both gasoline and electricity. So there were these recent rumors that NIO will be making a hybrid, and it is actually confirmed by the CEO. But there's a big caveat, a big asterisk. So this, well, we've always wanted NIO to make a hybrid. All right, we all knew that if NIO made a hybrid, it would sell extremely well. Okay, and what was our saving grace? What caused NIO to make this hybrid? Well, it is, of course, CYVN, which, of course, owns more than 20% of NIO. So it's kind of outside of NIO's control, so to speak. The big investors in Saudi Arabia, they see this as an opportunity because of the lack of infrastructure in many Middle Eastern countries like Egypt and even in North Africa. It just doesn't make sense to go, pure electric. And there's that need for a EREV, extended range electric vehicle. So the caveat is, of course, that this hybrid EREV is going to be sold under the Firefly brand. And of course, it's going to be sold in the global markets, namely those less developed countries where they don't have very good infrastructure or very good electricity supply. And it won't be sold here in China, confirmed by the CEO, because of the fact that there's battery swap stations everywhere, and you already have the ultimate convenience from battery swap, and you have, and he says, 线线通, you already have like county to county swap stations. You have so many swap stations that you can go between counties, and you don't even need to like charge. You can just swap. So that definitely really makes sense, so to speak. But that's very interesting. Firefly, so they are making a hybrid to sell abroad in all those different countries. And that car is going to be available in 2026. So very soon, in about 2 years' time, you're going to see this car, this hybrid car in, in Europe, in the Middle East, in North Africa. And what's really interesting is, like, how come, the Saudis, they said, hey, we need the EREV, we need a hybrid. There's not really that good of infrastructure here. How come they're not offering it here in China, right? And you got to think about NIO's philosophy, right? NIO's philosophy has always been blue sky coming, right? And they don't want to really touch gasoline in that sense. They want to create a future where everything is greener, right? And then all of a sudden you got hybrids coming along. With hybrids, hybrids might mean pollution, right? It might mean pollution. It might mean, is it really blue sky coming or is it gray sky coming, guys? So definitely they still want to try to stick to their philosophy, but right now they got big shareholders, CYVN, sort of twisting his arm, so to speak. And it really fits the market, right? Making hybrid really fits the market. Now, how is this going to affect the stock? All right. Hybrids, I gotta say, Firefly, if they come out with a very cheap hybrid car, EREV car that's economical and safe and has a lot of good tech features in the car, it's gonna sell tremendously well. All right. It's gonna sell like hotcakes. All right. And I really hope that they can reconsider and also have that in China, because, NIO CEO said the original strategy with Firefly was that they're going to have their own smaller, cheaper swap stations, all right, that cost about 1 million RMB each. So the swap stations are like half price or less than half the price of a NIO swap station. So they got more boutique, smaller swap stations. But at the same time, I'm thinking maybe they should, well, they're still going to go forward with this, of course. They're still going to go forward with this, but they should still launch the hybrid Firefly car here in China, because that car is going to sell really well. All right, cheap hybrids, they sell tremendously well within those budget consumers. And right now it's all about price, man. Like here in China, the automobiles, everybody's competing in terms of more bang for the buck. You see the P7 from XPeng launch, man, that the price of that car under 200k RMB. I mean, before this car, the first generation of the P7, it would be reaching up to like 300k RMB ish. So it's just a significant decrease in price in terms of like everything. Everything is much cheaper now. So here in China, if they sold a hybrid at that price, like 100k RMB ish, I mean, it's gonna sell like crazy. All right, it's gonna sell like crazy. A lot of people will buy that car for sure, and it's going to really help NIO's sales like crazy, because at the end of the day, right, even though the company strategy is blue sky coming, CYVN as an investor and us investors, we don't really care about blue sky coming, so to speak. We're investors, we want to see profit, right? Blue sky coming, you know, there's going to be other cars or trucks polluting the sky and all that kind of stuff. Sure, we want blue skies coming for the health of our children and everything like that, but we want to see profit, right? Profit is very important. So in that sense, I'm really glad that CYVN is sort of twisting NIO's wrist to force them to make a hybrid in that sense. And it's going to pay off like profit-wise. It's going to pay off profit-wise. It's going to really help the company bolster their sales. And I think in every region, there's always a demand for a cheap budget vehicle that can get everything done. And if there's not enough infrastructure, having a hybrid ERV is going to make perfect sense. And I think it's going to see great success in countries like Nigeria and Egypt and those countries where, you know, we wouldn't say they're poor, but they are definitely, like, we wouldn't say they're super well developed, but there's definitely a need for hybrids and technological vehicles in those markets. So I think NIO is heading in the right direction, all right, going with this hybrid for the Firefly car. I just hope that they can bring it to China. I hope CYVN can twist the other wrist and say, hey, you got to bring it to China as well. So, imagine if you had the best of both worlds. If you had a car that can do battery swap and it's a hybrid. What? And it's ERV. What? You can go to all the gas stations. You can go to all the swap stations. You can go to all the charging stations. How crazy is that going to be? Right? Of course, that's going to be pretty difficult to engineer, right? You got to have a swapping mechanism, but you also have to have a generator in the car along with the motors and everything. And but I'm sure they can figure it out. And if they're able to pull this off, holy crap, man, they got the best of all three worlds. That's going to be insane. All right. Then there's no reason not to buy NIO. You can use the gas stations, you can use the charging stations, you can use the swap stations. You got more infrastructure than any other EV or any other gas station out there. That's crazy. All right. So we'll have to see. Does this hybrid vehicle also allow battery swap? That's going to be interesting, because we know for a fact the Firefly is going to be a smaller car. It's going to have smaller batteries. But does that allow them to also fit the generator along with the swapping mechanism? Something to look forward to. All right. This is great news. They're heading in the right direction, guys. So I salute them for that. All right. And I think for the first time ever, they're doing things in terms of what needs to be done in terms of profitability. Okay, that's good. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.